Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The state of Virginia in the US has got a new governor. That man is Republican Glenn Youngkin, who is the first GOP candidate to rise to that position in 12 years. He was sworn in as the 74th governor on the steps of the state capitol in Richmond on Saturday. The same day, he signed 11 executive orders, including one that aims to combat and prevent human trafficking and to support survivors. The others include ending the use of critical race theory in schools. Youngkin is expected to bring in regulations tightening curbs on abortion. Earlier in his campaign, he had indicated his support to curbing abortion after 20 weeks of gestation. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears and Attorney General Jason Miyares were also sworn in on the same day. While Sears is the first woman of colour to serve in that capacity in the state, Miyares is also the first Latino to become Attorney General in Virginia. Cardinal Dolan of New York has decried the trend of vandalism targeting places of worship across the US over the past 2 years. In a statement issued on January the 14th, the top prelate said that the Catholic bishops of the country have noticed a trend of attacks against Catholic churches and statues. Since May in 2020, there have been 113 acts of vandalism across 29 states and the District of Columbia. The attacks include the decapitation of statues, dismembering of images, and defacing of tombstones. In his remarks as part of National Religious Freedom Day 2022 on Saturday, the Cardinal said that an attack on a place of worship is certainly an attack on the particular community that assembles there to pray, adding that, quote, "It is also an attack on America's fundamental principle as a place where all people can freely practice their faith." The attack on a synagogue in Texas was an act of terrorism, so said White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Sunday. Although the FBI had said earlier that there was no evidence to show that the hostage crisis at the Congregation Beth Israel in Colleyville targeted the Jewish community, Sullivan said that it was an act of anti-Semitism. The hours-long crisis came to an end on Saturday night after the attacker was gunned down by police in a standoff. He has been identified as Malik Faisal Akram, a 44-year-old British national. The hostage-taker sought the release of Afia Siddiqui, a Pakistani neuroscientist who is in prison in Texas after being convicted in 2010 for shooting at US military officers while being detained in Afghanistan 2 years earlier. As part of the probe in the UK, police arrested 2 teenagers in South Manchester on Sunday. Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, a live grenade was found in a Catholic church on the outskirts of the capital Colombo recently. Following the discovery of the explosive at All Saints Church in Borella, Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit of Colombo has urged the police to carry out a transparent probe. During a recent press conference, the prelate said that instead of finding the truth, the police are fabricating a story. After the discovery of the grenade, the police detained 4 people and also charged the sacristan with placing the explosive in the church. The Cardinal said the police are trying to cover up the conspiracy behind the discovery by blaming innocent people. He also cited security camera footage that shows a man entering the church at 9:52 a.m. on the day the grenade was discovered. He was seen carrying a shopping bag and was walking with a limp. As someone walked by, he then left the building, walking normally. The abductions, forced conversions to Islam and forced marriage of underage Pakistani girls from minority communities are continuing with impunity. In the latest incident, a 14-year-old Christian girl was kidnapped, converted to Islam, and forced to marry her 45-year-old abductor, who also happened to be her neighbour. It was on January the 4th that Manur Ashraf went missing after she left her home in Lahore with her 8-year-old nephew. According to her nephew, she was then kidnapped by her neighbour Muhammad Ali Khan Gowri as they were going to a nearby shop. According to a Morning Star news report, when the girl's parents lodged a complaint against their neighbour, the investigating officer was slow to take action. On January the 7th, the abductor's family informed Manur's parents that the girl had converted to Islam and married Gowri. Police are yet to recover the girl and take action against the abductor. Jihadists have struck a community in South Sudan, leaving at least 28 Christians dead. In the attack that took place earlier this month in Yit Pabol, the Islamist insurgents burned down 57 dwellings. While speaking to global Christian aid agency Barnabas Fund, Anglican Bishop Joseph Mamer Manot of Awel said that many people have been displaced by the attack and that the humanitarian situation is alarming as food items were torched by the jihadists, with survivors being left hungry and homeless. The Anglican prelate also said that many are left with no safe drinking water. In a separate incident the same week, Islamists attacked the village of Miodol, leaving 4 dead and 3 others missing. Ever since it gained independence from Sudan, the country has been plagued by civil war. Now the spectre of jihadi attacks is also rising. In August of last year, 2 nuns were gunned down by Muslim insurgents while they were driving along the Juba-Nimule highway. In London, hundreds assembled on Saturday to take part in a vigil paying homage to an Irish primary school teacher who was murdered last Wednesday while she was jogging. The mourners gathered outside the Irish Centre in Camden at 4 p.m. local time and sought an end to violence against women. Ashling Murphy was fatally attacked on the banks of the Grand Canal in Tullamore in County Offaly. The crowd observed a moment's silence as a mark of tribute to Ashling. During the vigil, the 23-year-old teacher's father played her favourite tune, Sweet 16, on his banjo. Police are investigating the murder, though a 40-year-old suspect who was interrogated has been released. Her requiem mass will take place at St Bridget's Church in Mount Bolus today, and she will be laid to rest afterwards at Lower Town Cemetery. May she rest in peace. There seems to be no end to the violence against Christian churches in Myanmar. In the latest incident, military airstrikes and mortar attacks hit the Sacred Heart of Jesus Church in Doukhu Parish in Loikaw town in Kayah state on January the 12th. As a result, one of the bell towers was destroyed. However, there were casualties. Father Francis Sonang, Chancellor of Loikaw Diocese, said, quote, "Heavy fighting has been going on for 3 days. We are attacked not only with heavy weapons, but also with airplanes and helicopters. Many people have fled the city amid the turmoil, and almost 200 people have sought refuge in the Cathedral of Christ the King. Since the military takeover, Myanmar's military junta has continued to destroy churches as fighting between the government troops and armed rebels intensified in Christian-dominated states, causing tens of thousands of people to flee their homes." And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.